Okay, I'm going to introduce my son Josh. Josh Yemrus, my youngest guy. He's serving with the third ID down in Georgia. Welcome, Josh.
How you doing?
Fine, son. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. All right, so let's go back to basic training. What time you guys get up in the morning?
Depends on the day, but normally 5:30.
How many days a week you work?
Every day.
And at 5:30, and then what happens?
And we would get downstairs for PT by 6.
Okay.
Do PT, whether that's in the rock pit or if it's going for a run.
Sounds so far so good. We're kind of similar. But now we're going to get to the mess hall. So, tell me how the food was.
So I know you called it SOS.
Right.
We still have it. It's just biscuits and gravy now.
Okay.
Creamed beef.
Right.
On a
Cream the
biscuit.
beef.
And yeah, so we would just have like 15 minutes to get in and out.
Right. Okay. And tell me about KP.
We didn't do KP in basic.
Okay. No, you do KP ever?
I have not.
No,
so,
I mean, does the Army still have KP?
Yes,
it
they
does.
do.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was finished.
No, they still do.
Sergeant Major or the captain or whoever was lieutenant never walked through the ranks inspecting you guys?
No.
Really? Wow, we had a lot of that.
Here I have a common area, and then
No, your
my
sleeping
own room.
quarters. You have an own room.
Yes.
He has his own room, guys. How about that?
So
his own room.
Yeah, what were yours like? What barracks were you like?
We had I don't know. The whole platoon was in the back. 40 guys
in the States
with bunk beds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bunk beds. It was like basic training. What do you think? Basic, you had that, right?
Yeah.
Well,
so it was basic all the time.
We had the basic thing where we were.
Okay, so yeah, when I go into my barracks, I have a room key. Go in. I have my kitchen, my washer.
Your own kitchen.
Yeah.
He has his own kitchen, guys.
My own washer, dryer. I have my bathroom and shower, and then there's
no private shower.
Well, so my roommate and I share our kitchen, our washer, dryer, and our bathroom.
So you have 2 rooms and a kitchen.
Yeah, it's like a common area and then 2 rooms next to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Might know.
It's a lot more technology, of course.
Oh yeah, right. Tell me about the thing on your head, the light, the camera. What is that thing?
Night vision.
No, that's all that is.
The black tube.
No, there's like something over here all the time. It like looks like a camera.
The thing that like pivots down. It's night vision.
Oh, that's night vision. Okay. Yeah. Anything else that you have?
Well, we have zoom scopes now, so like we can see like our optical zoom sights.
Okay.
Which you guys didn't have.
No.
You just iron sights.
And your weapon?
M4.
Nice.
It works.
What would you prefer?
Well, they've been trying to upgrade to something a bit newer for a while now, and they're trying to do that now too. I think they got down to like 3 different prototypes that they're choosing between. But the M4, it's just if it gets dirty, it doesn't break, but it just stops working.
It doesn't operate properly.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a lot of weapons. They said that about the M16. I never had a problem with the M16. A lot of guys like the M14. It was a much more reliable weapon, and I think it was more accurate. But the M16 was like automatic, you know. How long was basic?
So mine was 6 months because I had basic and AIT put together.
Oh, okay.
So it was all one. It's called OSUT. It's one station unit training. So we do basic, and then stay in the same unit to do our AIT.
Oh, wow, that's pretty for finding some bonding there, huh? A long time with the same guys.
Yeah. So you end up having the same drill sergeants the entire time, same instructors.
Right. And the same troops.
Yeah, and that's just for infantry and combat MOSs. Medics don't do that. Drivers don't do that. Things like that. Only the combat MOSs do that.
Oh, okay.
So what did you do when your basic was? What, 10 weeks?
My basic 8 weeks. 8 weeks of basic training. Then we got a week leave, and then I went back to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, to be I didn't know any idea how the Army got me to be a wheeled vehicle mechanic. For some reason, I was able to take screws and nut off a bolt faster than the other guys, and that's how they sent me there. So I went, and then from there, I was at Fort Jackson, and I spent 8 weeks doing that, and then I spent 4 months being held over before I could get to jump school.
Oh wow.
So then I became what they call a fireman. A fireman, great exemption from KP. No KP for a fireman. I'd have to walk around because we lived in Tent City at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and I have to stoke and feed the coal burning stoves in the tents.
Right.
So you have tents like that?
So we don't have tents in the States, but we were living in tents in Hungary.
And so you had a guy with the fire with the coal burning stove?
We had electricity.
See, there you go. Upgrades 50 years later. I like that.
So we have heaters.
Okay.
It did get pretty cold there at night, so the heaters did help.
Okay. How about leave? You get any leaves, any passes, any weekends off?
No, because of COVID.
Oh, really?
Normally we would have been able to go out into Romania and stuff, but we couldn't because of COVID. We weren't allowed out of the base.
Okay. I got a big question for you here. Tell me about COVID situations in the Army.
So when we were isolated on our own when we were all on our own in Hungary, it was just Biko there. And there was nobody coming in or out. It was just us. So we really didn't do much.
No cases.
We didn't really have much structure for COVID.
No exposure, though, obviously.
Yeah, no.
So they clamped down. You clamped kind of like quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we were on our base and we did what we had to do, and we never really left. We never went into town. But yeah, we didn't really have to worry about it there. But before I left to go to Europe, I actually quarantined in the barracks for 2 weeks before I could even get on the plane. Yep.
Okay.
Then I had to quarantine in Poland.
Oh, really?
And then I would get COVID tests every time I moved to a new location. They had us go to the TMP all the time. Like, you would get your temperature taken. When we got to Romania, things really got locked down where you would have to wear a mask everywhere and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But it wasn't like that prior because it was so isolated. It was just a few people. And we would have our Bradleys.
Oh, yeah. So tell me about the heavy equipment you use.
So our Bradleys, they're...
that's part of your unit all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our unit that's the main function of our unit is Bradleys.
Mechanized infantry?
Yeah. Okay. So if our Bradleys are down, then we're down.
Right.
We don't do anything without them.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And what about tanks?
We don't use tanks, but we have tanks in our battalion that were working with us.
Okay. And how was the food in Europe? Or was it the Army food?
In Hungary, so in Romania, it was really good because it was an Air Force base.
They get more jokes on Facebook than anybody if the Air Force does. It's like Air Force food. Oh my God.
And so they had
nothing changes after 50 years.
They had the Air Force base had a 24-hour DFAC, so we could go and get food whenever we wanted. There were set meal times for real food, but you could go get sandwich and soup and cereal whenever you wanted.
How about downtown? Did you go downtown?
We couldn't go off base because of COVID.
So then what happened? So that you already woke up, you went hygiene, you did your PT, and now you're eating food.
So after we eat chow, we would normally head back to the barracks and into our bays, get changed for the day,
right,
and go whatever training we have for that day.
How would you get there?
Normally, there's buses.
Oh, you take a bus to training.
It's kind of like school buses.
Yeah.
What would you run? Or did they have?
Yeah, being in the airborne outfit, probably we do a little bit more running. But the point is that we do.
No, during basic, because I mean you weren't airborne before basic.
Oh, true. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Well, basic E62. That was Sergeant West. What's your drill sergeant's name?
My senior drill sergeant was Drill Sergeant Alvarado.
How many of you guys out there remember your drill sergeant's name, huh? Sergeant West.
That's a name I'll never forget.
They're Smokey the Bear hats. They wear the hats still?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Of course.
Yeah. It's only 50 years later, they still got the same hats. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 50 years, though. We got to give you some credit. You know what I mean? To lighten up, right?
Yeah. I couldn't imagine what it was like 50 years earlier than that.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been World War I. So, okay. And then, what was your typical day like?
During what?
In Europe.
In Europe?
Typical day.
Which part of Europe?
Okay. Tell them both, Germany and Romania.
So
yeah.
Germany, since I was just traveling to my unit, we didn't really have a structure. We would wake up, do our own PT on our own.
Your own PT.
Yeah.
Like they trusted you to do PT.
I mean, they just kind of said go for a run, and we would go for a run together.
Okay.
And then but again, this is because we were basically just 10 of us.
This is the Army?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we ran a lot. In fact, they had me running, and maybe you could relate to this. They would send me for 5 gallons of prop blast, and they would send me down to headquarters battery to the motor pool to get 5 gallons of prop blast. And they said, no, they have that down at A battery. So I'd run a quarter mile down to the A battery. Private Yemis reporting for 5 gallons of prop blast. And they oh, no, they sent it to C battery yesterday. You got to go over there and get it. They had us chasing board stretchers, 2x4 stretchers. They had us canopy lights. We had to run after canopy lights. Like,
what about the time you had to run 5 miles because you crashed the XOs?
Yeah, don't say that. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. One time I was driving the XO, and he asked me if I knew how to drive a stick. And of course, from New York, I'm going to say, of course I know how to drive a stick. But I was finding them and grinding them, or grinding them and finding them. And in Fort Bragg, they had tank trails with those big plows that looked like snow on the side of the road, but it was plowed up there. And I ran into the snow, even though it wasn't snowy. And the XO made me run back to the barracks, like about 5 miles. So he got another ride. He called some other guy up, and they got a driver and brought it back.
Well, at least you were a track star before you joined the Army.
That's true. That was Captain Jackie Woods, headquarters battery, 1st to the 320th Artillery, Fort Bragg, 1967. There you go. Yeah, that was, thanks, Josh. Remember that. Leave time or weekend passes. Where did they let you go? Like locally?
So yeah, since I'm in Georgia, I can go to Savannah and stuff like that. When on a weekend, you're allowed to go up to 150 miles away without a pass.
Okay.
If you want to go further than that, you have to have a pass.
Right.
But everything I want is right there. I have beaches. I have
Sure, yeah.
everything that I could want. So I'm not really too.
We used to drive home from Fort Bragg on a Friday afternoon. If they give us a 3-day leave, they let us leave at 12 o'clock. We could take about 8 hours to drive from Fayetteville to outside New York City. We had 3 or 4 guys in the Shelby GT 350, which just came out. My friend Ronnie Tochi was the mayor of New Rochelle. He's involved with the vets there at Westchester County, New York. We got a ticket one time, and sure enough, somehow they let the guys go. You know, the cops are nice. State troopers, paratroopers, same thing. How about recreation in the Army now? You have a pool hall, you got a softball field?
We have the gym. That's mainly where me and my friends go most of the time.
Okay.
There's a pool in there if we want to.
Oh, really?
Jump in.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a pool, rock wall. It's a nice modern gym.
Yeah.
We also have on base, because the bases are more like small towns now.
Right.
They're not really like how they used to be, where it's just a military base. It's also like a community.
Of course.
So we have we have schools, we have like playgrounds and baseball fields, parks.
Like yeah, I got you. Okay.
Exactly. And there's a golf course. There's the USO, which is like a free lounge for military members to go to.
Right.
It has like video games and stuff like that in there.
So you have an EM club?
I don't know what that is.
And this is a man's club.
Yeah, that's the USO.
Okay.
Yep.
So USO is on every base, like
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. The only real extent to the USO I used to have when I got out after my second wound, I got out of the hospital and they reassigned me to division headquarters rear. And in Benoit, I used to have to drive to Saigon to pick up bigwigs off the airport, generals or politicians or whatever, and drive them back to headquarters. And the USO was downtown Saigon, so that was I never got in there, but
there's also USOs in most airports. Like Atlanta Airport has a nice one.
Yeah, that's nice.
There was USO.
Everything's free of charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the vets go in and they get refreshments and TVs and.
So like when I was in Germany, there was a USO, and we could go in there, get some soda, get chips, get burgers.
Nice.
For free.
And how about the benefits? How are the benefits in the Army today?
Pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of discounts everywhere.
Yeah. We never got that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the medical thing that President Trump did. Well, it's good. It's now you can go to your own doctor.
Oh yeah.
We always have to go to the military doctor.
So yes and no. You can, but you also, like, if you get an injury on base, they're just going to take you to the military hospital.
Right.
If you get wounded
or sick,
yeah, they're going to send you to the medics. But if I'm home on leave right now, and I get hurt, I can go to
any doctor you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, how'd you get to when you signed up? How did you get to Georgia? Where'd you go for basic?
Fort Benning.
Okay, so how'd you get there from New York?
They flew us.
Really? They flew you?
Yeah.
Okay. We got on a train we went to Whitehall Street down in Lower Manhattan, and they had about 600 guys, I guess, or whatever, maybe 400 or whatever. Everybody got shots, first of all. And then they got on a train for a train ride to Fort Bragg, to Fort Gordon, Georgia. Yeah, it was in Fort Gordon. And then from Fort Gordon, I went to Fort Jackson, and then Fort Jackson back to Fort Benning, and from Fort Benning to Fort Bragg, and then from Fort Bragg to Fort Campbell, and then to Fort Saigon, and then back to Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn. I knew I only had 6 months to go when I got back, and they were going to reassign me to the 82nd back in Fort Bragg, because they served with the 101st when we were still on jump status. And I said, look, I got 6 months left. I'm not going to want to, be spit shining my boots every day. And, did that before and did the war thing, lost a lot of good buddies. And so I said, I want to be stationed close to home. So I wrote everybody in the world. I wrote the governor, I wrote the senators, I wrote the congressman, I wrote the mayor of New York, I wrote the president for to try to get me out of Fort Bragg and station me close to home. And I was giving up hope, and the Jets won the Super Bowl back there 50 years ago.
That's not going to happen again.
I know. Okay, but miracles do happen. Get ready. So what happens? I'm packing my bag the Monday after the Jets won the Super Bowl in '68, and I hear the bell rings, and I go out to the hallway and look downstairs because it's a 4-story walk up, and I say, who is it? And the guy says, Western Union. I go, Western Union? What the heck? So we're halfway down. He comes halfway up. He gives me a telegram. It says, stop. Do not report to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Report to Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn, which is 30 miles away. And I said, hallelujah. Check this out. Like the last day, the guy brings me a telegram. I signed United States Senator Jacob Javits. I got the letter over here, right? So I say, this is so cool. So I report for my duty the next day. It was the worst duty in the world. It was the worst duty in the world. It was funeral details.
Not everything can be peaches and cream in the Army.
Yeah.
You're gonna get if you get what you ask for.
No,
it's not gonna be what you asked for.
But it was not good doing funeral details, being in charge of a ceremonial squad. We had 4 or 5 riflemen. We had pallbearers, and if an officer wasn't there, I'd have to give the flag to the parent or the wife of the soldier, which really stunk because I lost a lot of buddies over there, and I come back here, and it's like, who needs PTSD again? I mean, in a different form. Like, so weird. And the guys who were in the squad were like the Dirty Dozen guys.
Yeah.
Mother rapers and father rapers and criminals, and they were like on their last section, Article 15 kind of deal of all these articles, and they were like one step into prison, and yet they were doing, and it was like the worst guys in the world to try to control and be in charge of.
Right. So this is my squad that I'm working with now. We finished our work in Hungary and wanted to get one last picture together before we headed out.
Nice.
But this is actually the last picture I took in that country.
Okay.
So that was actually right after a training mission with the Hungarians.
How do they operate, the Hungarians? They're good soldiers?
Yes.
You sure? You're being kind. They're not as strack as we are, though, right?
They have their issues, but
Okay.
every army does.
Amen to that, brother. Okay. Next. Go ahead.
That's me and one of my teammates. We were just doing some night training, walking under nods, and this is also in Hungary. And yeah, it was we just would walk around in different environments, do different tasks
Right.
using night vision. That we were proficient in that,
Right.
and make sure that we can see well and operate well through a tube versus just with our
Talk
eyes
about
during the
night
daytime.
vision. We first got the first night vision ever used.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Starlight.
Starlight scopes. Yeah, hey, it's 50 years different here. That's really cool. Okay.
And that's in Germany. And the we would just a couple buddies and I every night would go rucking, and we would like have a little cookout and then go for a ruck just to stay in shape. Retraining. We're getting new vehicles. We're modernizing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So we're getting new equipment. We're getting the newer versions of the Bradleys, bigger gun, better electronics.
Nice. What kind of tanks are associated with you? The Abrams?
Yep.
Okay. There's 90 millimeter.
120.
Ooh, sorry, that's big.
I think it's 120.
Okay, that's okay. And what's up with you? How often do you train with your rifles and your other weapons, and throw hand grenades and stuff like that?
All the time.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all
Okay.
the time.
Great, Josh. My pleasure. We're going to do a sound off section now. Thank you very much, son. Love you. Welcome home.
Thank you.
And you're the best, kiddo. All right. Thank you out there. We're going to come back here and do a little sound off now. Okay, Kilo 19. They offer Antway to get easy college credits like correspondence courses.
Yeah, they do. So you can do every school you do in the Army, like airborne school. I don't know about airborne school actually, but certain schools in the Army will give you credits for college.
Oh, great.
Basic training alone gives you like a credit or something like that. And then
Life experience stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can also take college courses while you're in the Army. And then you also have your GI Bill when you get out to take free college.
I did that. I went to North Carolina State
Yep.
when I was at Fort Bragg. That was great. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, next, another comment? Using the second and the 69th AR, third ID on Kelly, Fort Benning. You know what that is?
Yep.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Kilo 19.
I have a friend in 269.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually just upstate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Small world. What's his name? Shout him out.
Johnston.
Johnston. How you doing there, Johnston? Welcome. Hope you're watching. All right. What you got next here? What's your MOS?
11 Bravo.
11
so
Bravo.
infantry.
11B. Still the same. Thank you, Kilo 19. Okay, Marie Kennerman. Hello, Josh. Thank you for your service. I can lay my head and sleep because of men like you and your dad. Go military. Amen on us. Thank you there, Marie. Appreciate that. Okay, Kilo 19. I remember my drills. One ended up being my platoon sergeant in Korea years later.
That's my worst fear. If my drill sergeant ends up being in charge of me down the line, that's my worst fear.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. All right, that's an interesting experience. Anybody else could top that? Okay. Where were the buses the whole time?
They just kept on pushing back the buses in Germany. Like when we wouldn't get picked up, and they just kept on saying, "Oh, it's gonna happen another week or another week." I don't know. It's beyond me. It's not my job.
That's the Army. Come on.
I don't get paid enough to figure that out.
Exactly right. That's the Army. Next question. Are you going to retire in military?
That depends on how the next few years go.
How long are you in now?
I have a 4.5 year contract.
No, how long are you in now?
A year and a half.
Is already a year and a half already?
Yeah.
Oh my God, time flies. A year and a half. Okay, well, I hope he does. He's got some good ideas about using technical abilities. Next. No in-ranks inspections?
No.
Really? We talked about that before. Thank you, Kilo 19, about checking out your belt buckle and you got a whisker on the side of your face or something you missed.
Well, no. So
They bust your chops. Come on.
They'll if they see that you're messed up, they're gonna say something about it, and you'll get smoked, or not smoked. You'll get correctively trained. New army, you can't get smoked. You can get correctively trained. But yeah, no, you if they're gonna look at you once in a while, and they'll be like, "Hey, go shave."
So let me ask you a question. When they have you line up for inspection, you have your 4 squads probably, and you line up and you say parade rest. So you stay at parade, right? Or you stay at ease. And the captain, most likely, is walking up and down, the major, or the XO, or the jet, or whatever, and he's looking at you up and down, back and forth. You never did that?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
No inspections like that. Join up again, man. Re-up. All right, next question. This is a great show. Thank you very much. Prop blast was not a real thing, right? Oh, yeah, prop blast was right. Prop blast is just the wind that is made from the propeller. It's like accelerated wind. And when you jumped out of a plane, not only did you fall straight down, but you got pushed back with the prop blast, and that's prop blast. But no, it wasn't a real thing to find 5 gallons of it, because it was air, and that they just make you. They jerk you around by making you stupid, or keeping you stupid. What does that say? That was something. Exactly. Thank you. No, that was some NCO sending a new private on a useless endeavor. LOL. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Canopy lights, the whole deal. What's this? Liquid squelch.
Oh, is he talking about the biscuits and gravy?
No, liquid squelch is squelches are stuck on the radio.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I don't know.
Is that like? But oh yeah, grid squares. There you go.
Oh yeah, okay, I know what he's talking about.
Right.
Like go find the blinker fluid or something like that. Like
right.
Just go do something. Kick rocks.
I got
kind of thing.
Yeah, they wanted us to get a 2x4 stretcher and canopy lights for our canopy for the parachute and prop blast, and I think that's about the only 3 things I heard. Any other guys out there got an idea about being goofed on in the army when you're trying to send you somewhere to get something, and everybody else is in on the game except you? Okay. There you go, Josh.
Probably
what is the coolest piece of technology, in Josh's opinion, in the modern army?
Probably that I've worked with.
That you know of?
That I've worked with is going to probably be the computer systems in the Bradleys.
Yeah, it's crazy. We didn't have that. We had these glasses that we had to use, and binoculars. That was it. They had 1 pair of binoculars, I think, for the whole company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And
now we all have one strapped to our rifle.
Right. Yeah. They have that. You have scopes?
Yeah.
They have scopes on their rifles. We didn't have any scopes, except the snipers did. You have snipers in your unit?
Yep. It's usually like 6 or 7 people.
What do they use?
Barracks, like 50 cals. They have a couple different ones.
50 caliber rifle? Wow.
So we have a 50 caliber, a Barrett 50 cal.
Like 2 or 3 miles.
And
right?
they have like some AR-15 variant.
They can shoot 2 or 3 miles, right?
Yeah, but you don't shoot it that far.
Well, I know they have some guy kill somebody about like a mile and a half away or 2 miles.
Yeah, but that was a one-time thing.
Okay.
It's amazing that he was able to make that shot.
That's good though. That's okay. Did the Dirty Dozen guys ever get out of line?
Your funeral.
Oh, my detail. Guys? You asking me about?
Funeral detail.
The funeral detail, absolutely. There we go. You want to hear some stupid stuff? We go in to the funeral parlor, before everybody, the family's allowed to get there and friends. So what do the guys do? They go in there and they get a deck of cards, and the guy's holding his hands like this across his chest. They put like 4 or 5 aces in his hand, like he's playing cards. Could you imagine this? These guys? And then every time something went wrong, like they trip or they stumble or slip or what, the F word would come out. I'm talking about right there at the funerals, right at the site of the burial. It was crazy. These guys were nuts. You're right. Dirty Dozen guys. Good question. Okay, the old radios we had. Right, Prick 25 was that in Vietnam.
Oh my! I remember somebody did that with an E5 when I got to.
I
my
used to
unit.
send new privates to Commo shop and ask for Prick E7. Okay. You get that? Okay. Last question is, yeah, funerals are bad, but every time I see a hearse go by now with a flag over the coffin, it never ends. That was 50 years ago. Yeah. Talk about PTSD. It's like everywhere around you. So, thank you very much. And appreciate you guys listening. Welcome, Josh. Welcome back home, buddy.
Thank you.
For the time being. Enjoy the rest of your service. And Happy New Year, everybody. God bless you. See you next week for another show. And welcome home.